a fun fact about me is I like to watch my reality TV. I like to watch my documentaries, but I also like to watch some weird stuff too. Like that kind of stuff that you got to kind of watch when you're home alone with no one else around because no one else would understand why you're entertained by things like this. Like I can't explain why I'm interested in videos like on Amberlynn Reed's breakup or King Cobra's latest recipe disaster, but I am. I become interested in different characters who are in different corners of the internet, and the most recent character is Ash Trevino. So my typical show, Love After Lockup, has not been on. And I was talking with one of my friends, my friend Trent, and he watches a lot of the same people that I like to watch. And he's like, have you heard of Ash Trevino? Have you heard of Ash Trevino? And this is not the first time that I've been asked this by somebody. So finally I was like, you know what? I need to see what everybody is talking about. Everyone keeps claiming that she's the worst mother on TikTok. So I decided to do some digging myself. So let's go ahead and get into it. There's no way I'm going to be able to get into everything in this video, but we're just going to cover what we can. So this is Ash Trevino right here. She is 36 years old, and she is known as a notorious inmate hopper. She has two daughters. One daughter is 16, and one daughter is 13. And she claims that she has had over 20 CPS calls of people trying to get her children taken away from her. But she said every single time CPS would call, or not, they wouldn't call, they would receive a call, then they would show up, basic checks. They would make sure there's food in the cabinets. They made sure that there's like running water and electricity. And as long as all those things were there and there's no evidence that she was being abused, then they would just go on their way and not do anything beyond that. And that's what happened over 20 times. People continue to call CPS, and we're going to get more into why people keep calling CPS on this girl. I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
I've had like 20 CPS cases. They dismissed them all because yes, I've had like 20 CPS cases. They dismissed them all because you know why? My kids are in good hands. My kids are taken care of. My kids do not need, they don't want for kids.
She has two daughters, a 16 and 13-year-old. And the thing is where she gets a lot of heat is, well, she gets a lot of heat for multiple things. But one of the big things she gets a lot of heat for is the fact that her daughters do not have a bed. And it's one thing if, like, say you're a struggling mom, you can't afford a mattress. You know, it already kind of sucks to be a mom in that position. But you know what? Shit happens. But that's not the case here. Ash has the money to buy her daughters a mattress. She literally was just bragging about like 5 or 6 different designer bags that she recently bought. Like she bought herself like a $5,000 Louis handbag. She bought herself like a $3,000 Louis duffel. She said she bought her daughter a $1,000 bag. She just got lip fillers. She's done a lot of things. She's spent thousands and she makes thousands. She's admitted that in one live stream, she made $12,000. And I'm not sure why people decided to go throw their money at her the way they do, but they do, and she is rolling in the dough right now. And yeah, you have made $12,000 off one live stream, but you cannot buy your daughters a bed. She said, oh, well, my daughters come over and one of them wants to sleep with me and the other one sleeps on the couch. They don't need a bed. Even so, I mean, maybe one wants to sleep with you, but what if one wants to like bring a friend over or have a friend over? They can't even do that because they don't even have their own bed. Like, how would that feel if they did have their friends over? I would be embarrassed if I was sleeping on an air mattress. And it's like Ashley just does not care that her daughters are having to live like this. She'll go out and she'll show off her shopping hauls where she'll show off like $700 worth of chips and junk food that she buys, but her daughters still don't have a bed. I will show you a picture of the air mattress that her daughters are sleeping on.
I have a bed for them, but it's off limits. So yes, I do have a bed. I need somebody to actually come set it up. So I do have a bed for the girls, but it's not set up.
Question. Do you have beds?
Here's where her daughters confirm in a recent interview that they did with this girl named Camila, and they confirmed that they do not have beds.
Well, I don't live with my mom.
But at your mom's house?
No.
I'm going to Zelle you. I'm going to give you money for, I want a bed, 2 mattresses, 2 of them. I want a headboard and 2 nightstands. I'm going to order that before you leave this house today. And I'm going to insert the clip of the receipt.
There's a story behind that, okay?
Please tell me why your children don't have beds. Yes.
Because my mom was actually going to go look at a furniture store. Because I don't go anywhere publicly at all.
Because you're just that bitch.
Literally. No, like I really don't. Like if I go out, I'm gonna get noticed.
Yeah, no.
And if I don't have my security guard, I'm not. She never did that. So and then I mean, they're like she said, she doesn't stay with me. I'm about to move because and I don't have a guy to come build it, but hopefully I can get somebody to come build it.
I'll pay for it.
Okay, so you got money, girl. It is not that hard to go hire you a handyman to come set up these beds. So here's the thing. Camila said that she was going to buy these beds for Ash, and then she turned around, and days later, she still didn't have these beds. So people are like, okay, what happened? I thought she said she was going to buy these beds. And she's like, well, she offered in the podcast, but I didn't hear from her beyond that. Then she keeps changing the story. She's like, well, I did buy the beds, but they're off limits because they're broken, and I haven't figured out how to set them up yet. And then she turned around and said in another lie that she still hadn't got the beds, but she was about to move, and then she was going to buy beds once she moved because she didn't want to have to worry about moving the beds.
Say, oh, because your kids don't have a bed. My kids do have a bed. It's just not set up. Why is it not set up? The reason it's not set up is because I'm buying a house. Thank you. Got more lip filler.
Okay, so the kids still don't have a bed, but she just got herself some lip filler 4 days ago. This reminds me of Heather from Love After Lockup.
When I got more lip filler. My top lip is so swollen though. When I come back, I'm actually getting Botox done. But right now, we just focused on my lips. When I got more lip filler.
Here is a video where it appears her lip filler is already migrating. She claims she's got like lip filler 4 times recently. And I think the problem is the person she's going to likely isn't doing it right. And when they do it, they're having the filler migrate, so it makes it look like she didn't get enough filler, when in reality the filter or the filler was just not placed right. And what they really need to do is dissolve that filler that's migrated versus adding more filler on top of it, because she's just going to make the migration worse long term.
It's so crazy. Like up close, you can see my fillers. Like there's a spot right here. You can literally see the filler right there. So when I go get my lips done next week, I'm going to ask her about that because like up close, like right here. Can't see them hoes. It's too bright out here. Just kidding.
Another thing with Ashley is not only do her kids not have beds, but she doesn't really seem to pay very much attention to her daughters at all while they're at her house. She'll sit there with her daughters and she'll be live on TikTok for hours upon hours. And her daughters will just be in the background just begging for her attention. One time her daughter was in the background and she admitted that she had left the night before for 3 hours, and her mom didn't even notice that she left because she was too busy on TikTok. That's the one time she admitted to it. So just imagine how many times that was happening that she did not admit to it.
Threw up. Why? You're lying. That's my lightning or what? I'm just kidding.
Mom, I just threw up. Why are you dancing? Mom, I threw up. Why are you dancing? You dancing? Yes. Alexa,
She gave 0 Fs. Okay, so the daughter just walks in crying. She's playing music in the background, so I can't play this. But Ash just like completely ignores her until she finally, the daughter says something to her. When she can clearly see that the daughter was crying, clearly, visibly upset. So not only does she seem to notoriously ignore her daughters during her TikTok lives, but when she's live, it's never like she's really talking about much. She'll do like a little grocery haul here and there, but usually it's just her shooting the shit and talking about her latest inmate boyfriend or barely legal 18, 19-year-old that she's trying to bag. But during these lives, she'll sometimes get as many as 30,000 concurrent viewers at a time. And she's admitted that she's made up to $12,000 just in one live. That is insane. The person had some speculation on Reddit on why they believe Ash does not get beds for her daughters. And I think they may be onto something. Let me go ahead and read to you what they had to say. So they said, okay, I just realized why she doesn't want her kids to have beds in her apartment. It's not because she doesn't have a man to build it for them. It's not that she can't afford them and any other dumb excuse that she can come up with. It's because she doesn't want the girls to permanently live with her or get too comfortable in her space so she can drink, party, and travel as much as she wants to. And the girls do come over. Okay, so here's the thing. Ash did have both of her daughters. And, okay, let me go backwards real quick. So Ash did work at a dentist office once upon a time, but while she was working at this dentist office, she started going live on TikTok. And this is crazy. So her 15-year-old daughter got a crush on this little TikTok star named Santos. He was a 19-year-old boy, and the daughter was like, Mommy, I think he is so cute. So Ash was like, bet. And she started going after the dude that her daughter had a crush on. And this 36-year-old woman went after this 19-year-old boy, and she started popping in on all his TikTok lives, and she would want to battle him. And she would get up on these lives, and she would be biting her lip and doing her little seductive look, trying to just suck him in. And one time, she decided to flash her nips to this dude on TikTok Live. And she's been through I think 6, 7 TikTok pages. And I'm pretty sure it's due to doing things like that. And so she flashed this dude. And after she flashed this dude, her job found out about it. And she got fired from her job. And her kids were living with her at this time. But after she got fired from her job, she hit the ground running when it came to doing these TikTok lives. Instead of just going live for 1 or 2 hours a day, she was going live all day, every day. And eventually, instead of just going live for an hour once a week like she was doing before, So instead of going live for an hour once a week like she was doing before while she was working a job, she started going live for multiple hours a day, every single day, sometimes all day long. And she was getting a lot of viewers and a lot of followers very quickly. But she started getting these trolls calling CPS on her. Like she said, she's had over 20 she's had over 20 CPS calls where they showed up to her house, but every single time they didn't find any evidence that made them concerned enough to take the kids. Their hands are kind of tied, unless there's any direct proof right there. They really cannot do anything. But she said the trolls were trying to get her kids taken away. She started fearing for her kids' safety, and she claims she gave her kids to her mother, and she said that she wants her kids to stay with her mother until she feels like she's in a safer position. And she'll be walking around with all these 18, 19-year-olds, and she looks like she's their chaperone. She's just there hanging out with them, thinking that she's just hanging out with them all as friends, and she's one of the cool kids. And what I think is, like, Ashley was probably just a normal, basic girl in high school. She probably didn't have too many friends, and she did get pregnant at a young age. I can't remember how old exactly she was when she was pregnant. I think she got pregnant with her first daughter. And she got with her baby daddy, I think, when she was like 13 years old. And she was with him up until he died. But she got tied down at a young age when she was 13. So a lot of things that, like, people go out and experience, like when they're first getting a taste of freedom, like when they're a teenager. I feel like she didn't get to experience a lot of things because she was tied down in a serious relationship, and she probably didn't have many friends in high school. And now she has all this TikTok clout, and all these young kids want to hang around her and make her feel cool. So she's like living like her young years now. Kind of like how when we see these guys who get arrested and go to prison at a young age, and they miss out on those young party crazy years that a lot of teenagers experience, and then they get out of prison and they go and make up for lost time, and they start running around partying all the time, always in traffic, because they're locked up during the age that they should have been experiencing those things. And I think she's tied down in this relationship, and she didn't get to experience things. So now she wants to go out and finally feel like she's the cool one. Where she goes in public, like to the mall, she always has security with her. I think Ash is probably the definition of a narcissist. Like, she's so self-centered and just focused on herself that she really cannot think about anybody else beyond her. So let's talk about a few other reasons why people don't like this girl, besides the fact that she does not have beds for her daughters and seems to neglect her children from what it appears. But there's many other reasons too. It seems like she's a compulsive liar. It seems like she is in competition with her daughters. Like I said, her daughter had a crush on this 18, 19-year-old man, and she turned around and took the boy from her daughter and started dating him, and would bring him over to her place in front of her daughter and hang all over him. And then she's like on live having conversations about this man like licking her rose toy and all kinds of inappropriate things in front of her daughter, just pretty much just rubbing it in her face as much as possible, like it's one big game. I'm sorry. If I told my mom I had a crush, and then next thing you know, I find out my mom is banging that dude a week later, oh my God, I don't think I could ever look at my mom the same. So not only that, but a big thing that she's known for is being an inmate hopper. She was with this man, I said, the father of her kids, from the time she was 13. Then he ended up passing away. And it's been one inmate after another after he ended up passing away. I think she said she's dated over 20 inmates now. And I can't even imagine how much money she has sent these inmates. I guess people in the prisons have spoken out and said that she has quite the reputation in the prisons. Like, guys will turn around and sell her phone number to other guys who are desperate to find a cash cow to send them money, because they know that Ash is that girl that's going to fall for it and send you money. And when guys do go on like pen pal websites and stuff like that to find girlfriends or sugar mamas, the guys who have the longest sentences always have the hardest times finding someone willing to take a chance on them, because a lot of people are like, okay, what's the point of getting to know this guy if he's never going to get out of prison, or it's going to be 30, 40 years by the time he does get out. But despite that, Ash decided to give this man a chance who was locked up, and he had been locked up since he was 15 years old. When he was 15, he ended up doing this robbery where I guess like this guy was working, I think like at a gas station or a store, and every single day he would take like the money and he would like put it in like this bag and he'd go drop it off at the bank and deposit it. And I guess his coworkers eventually figured out he would do this at the same time every single day. So this guy was like, you know what, let's call up the homies, we're gonna show up and we're gonna rob this guy. So they followed this guy, they robbed him, and they ended up taking his life. They did a bunch of other things too, like torture the poor man. And this dude, at only 15 years old, got a hefty prison sentence. I think he was sentenced to like 30 to 40 years, which that is pretty hardcore at 15 years old, because typically judges are a lot more understanding the younger someone is. But they were not playing with this dude. He seemed very knowledgeable. Like, he seemed like he knew what he was doing. They meticulously planned out this whole robbery. It's not something that they just did last minute, spur of the moment. And there's a lot of thought and time that went into this. So they really gave it to him when they sentenced this man. But Ash comes out and wants to tell people, oh, well, maybe he deserved it. And she's dated men who were locked up for DV, and she makes excuses for the men. She says they're always innocent. It don't matter. You can have all the evidence, proof. The proof can be in the pudding, and she'll still make excuses on why her boyfriend at the time is the most innocent man in the world. And then when people will say, well, what about the victims? You know, somebody lost their life, somebody got hurt. She'll be like, well, maybe they deserved it. Maybe they said something. Maybe they pissed him off. I don't care who you are if you piss him off. That still is not a reason for someone to die. Nobody deserves to die, no matter what the circumstances. So the fact that she dates people who have unalived people and then blames the victims, victim blames, I think that makes a lot of people turned off to her. And the fact that she just laughs it off like it's one big joke and does not take it seriously whatsoever. I would really feel some type of way if I was the victim's family watching this girl up on TikTok just laughing about my family member who lost their life, talking about how they deserve it and how innocent this man is, even though he has been to court. And there's been so much evidence brought in front of a jury that enough jurors voted to send this man to prison for as long as he's in there. But I don't think Ashley really even does any of the research that she should into these people. I think she just trusts these inmates at face value, and they'll be like, oh, baby, I'm innocent. It's not that big of a deal. And she'll just take their word verbatim and completely believe every single thing. I think you could have all the proof in front of her face and be like, girl, like, I got the court documents here with all the tea that this man is a terrible person. And I feel like she'll still look the other way and pretend she can't see it because she just would rather be in denial. But she's not with an inmate right now, so I will give her credit for that. But she has jumped from one inmate to another. She has introduced her daughters to 2 different inmates and brought them out to the prison. She ended up marrying one of these inmates. I know of one inmate she's married. She may have married more than that, but I know of one for sure that she married, and she got his name tattooed on her. And I think that's the guy who was sentenced to like 30, 40 years. And now she's out here trying to date other guys while she's still married to that guy. They need to bring her on Love After Lockup. That's what they need to do. She's had a few lives where she went to go pick up her little boyfriends from prison, and it seemed like once the dudes got out of prison, the relationship never lasted long after that. But it's not only the fact that she doesn't have beds for her daughter and the fact that she's an inmate hopper that gets her so much hate. She also exploits the hell out of her children. Her children will be sitting there and talking about their personal private business with their mother and like be trying to whisper like, Mom, I'm on my period. You know, don't say anything. I don't want them to hear I'm on my period. And Ash will be like, you're on your period? What? Guys, she's on her period. I got to figure out what we're going to do for her. She's on her period. Like, she does not respect their privacy at all. These kids don't get a chance to have any privacy outside of TikTok without her mother taking advantage of it. Like, one day, her daughter was sick, and her daughter went to the hospital. And she comes on live, and I think she loves, like, when her daughter goes to the hospital, because that's a good... because that's a opportunity for her to get some sympathy donations. So she had to jump on live, turn the camera on her, and she's like, hey guys, my daughter's in the hospital, but I'm not going to tell you guys why, because I don't want to disturb her privacy. That's her business. I'm not going to put it out there, but she's in the hospital. You know, it kind of reminds me like, you know, like Elon Musk, like his girlfriend or one of his baby mamas recently came out and she's like, I'm Elon Musk's baby mama, but please respect my privacy. It's like, okay, putting yourself out there is just going to garner even more attention. And that's exactly what that did in this situation. She's like, my daughter's in the hospital, but I'm not going to invade her privacy or tell her business. And then she turns around and she's like, okay, guys, yeah, actually, if you guys want to send galaxies, which are like worth $15, $16, I'll tell my daughter's business. So the galaxies start coming in, and then she exploits her daughter's illness and tells everybody on TikTok Live why her daughter was in the hospital. And even Ash and her two daughters recently did an interview with this Camila girl, and her daughter admitted in this live that I did not like that at all. I felt like that was exploitive and like you were taking advantage of the situation. And Ash, like always, just kind of laughed it off. She didn't really seem to take it too serious. They've also came into Ashley's room while she's been live and told her to stop certain behaviors. Like she constantly like jokes about how her noo-noo smells, and she'll be joking about her noo-noo or about her vibrator on live while her kids are watching. And there's even been allegations that her daughters moderate her TikTok live stream. So they see and hear everything that's going on. And there's been plenty of times where the daughters will come in while she's on live and be like, Mom, you need to stop. That is embarrassing. Or Mom, you need to stop. People in the comments are getting mad. Or Mom, you need to stop because that's like overstepping your boundary. But even though that has happened over and over again, Ash continues to do it. Then Ash, like I said, she ended up dating this 19-year-old boy that her daughter had a crush on. And she was sitting there. And here's the thing. This boy was 19 years old, but Ash claimed that he was 21. So she brings this dude around and she's constantly feeding him alcohol. And one day he was on a live and someone was like, how old are you? And he said he was 19. And people are like, oh my God, you've been saying you're a club promoter. And there's no way you're a club promoter if you're only 19 and you've been drinking this whole time and you're not even the legal age to drink. So here's Ash illegally giving you alcohol. And once people started pointing that all out, Santos started breaking down crying because he knew the jig was up. People were realizing that he was just a liar.
I saw Santos crying on her live. Why is he crying on her live, you ask? Let me tell you. Apparently, people have been saying that they've been knowing that Santos is only 19, but he's been DJing and hosting at clubs, and then he also has a liquor license somehow. And so he was crying on her live because people exposed or probably called his work or whatever, saying that he was 19. And they're like, how are you employing a 19-year-old to do something that's 21 and up? And then his number got leaked, and people were texting him about his daughter. To me, it seemed he was more upset about losing his liquor license and his ability to DJ over being able to talk to his daughter. I mean, but really, what can you expect from somebody that clout chases with Ash Trevino? Also, Ash, why are you hugging up on him like this? You're like...
We'll fucking follow y'all back. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. We appreciate that so much. Keep sending.
If you
We'll fucking follow y'all back. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. We appreciate that so much. Look how fucking crazy these galaxies are coming in right now. Look how crazy they're coming in right now. You want to tell them thank you?
Thank you, guys. Let me follow all of y'all back now.
Hold on, am I going with y'all?
Where's the Uber?
Yeah, we're all going together.
Okay.
Nobody knows my address. So yeah.
Let me get some toast. Do I need Uber?
I lost that.
Then he freaked out after the cops took his fake ID.
I worked so hard for my college degrees. I worked so hard for my food truck. Like, I worked so hard for a bunch of other things, chat. Like, and y'all just like, bro, y'all ruining everything. Like the haters. And then one of my closest friends out here talking shit to me.
You know what? Because what y'all are doing to him, whatever I make right now in my life, it's gonna go towards him.
It doesn't matter.
No, it does matter because they shouldn't do that shit to you. You deserve everything. Stop. Y'all need to stop freaking bullying him.
I actually need some Q-tips.
Guys, go send him some money. Go send him some galaxies. Go send him. X says, I'm gonna follow you back, baby.
I feel like crashing out.
I am following you back, baby. Can you get the names recorded, please?
Yeah.
Stop. I got you. I told you that. I told you I got you. I got you. I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Stop. I got you. Stop. Stop.
Just sent the guy.
Okay, so don't let them win.
Do you have your ID on you?
I do.
Can I see it?
Yeah, it's in my glove.
Oh, in your glove. Oh, okay. Am I allowed to touch the glove?
Yeah.
Oh, is this like a famous glove?
Mm-hmm. It's the glove.
What does that mean? Ew, what does that mean? What do you mean it's the glove? What does that mean? What did you do with it?
Well, sometimes you have to get into like dark places.
What?
Like Manunu. I'm playing.
I'm weak. Okay. Says here you were born on. Oh my God, your birthday's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
March 26, 2005. So it is confirmed here that is Santo's real age.
So after finding out that Santos was only 19, Ash got a lot of backlash because people were like, okay, you're giving this kid alcohol. And she said, well, he told me that he was 21. I'm just now finding out with all of you guys that he is only 19. Then Santos recently did an interview with Camila, and there's been this ongoing joke that he ate Ash's coochie. He knows what she smells like down there. Like, that's a big thing that he's, like, famous for. I don't know. A big joke that they're always talking about. But he claims that he has never liked Ash physically or emotionally. He acts like he just got with her pretty much for the clout and to be her business manager. He says like he is not like managing her TikTok, but he was helping show her how to monetize herself and other social media pages, when honestly I doubt he was doing much. I'm sure she was showing him more on how to for him to monetize himself instead of being the other way around, like he was trying to play. I'm sure she was the one showing him how to monetize social media instead of him claiming it was the other way around. And he said that he has no idea how Ash's nunu smells, and he claims that her breath stinks, and that he has never licked any of her vibrators because there was this TikTok she did where she claimed that he licked her rose toy. But in a recent interview where Ash was asked if he licked her rose toy, she said, yeah, because he's just freaky like that. But he denied it. And he wasn't really opening up too much in this interview. He was asked about some allegations against him, and he just like shut him down quick and acted like this was like a friend of Ash's that was just trying to ruin his life. But even Ash's came out and tried to make essay allegations against him, and he's done the same with her. But then they turned around and came out and were hanging out with each other right after they made all these allegations against each other. So it's like, I don't know how serious to really take these allegations. Now she claims that she is dating her biggest gifter. She said she's never met him. He's like 23 years old, and he's like a big-time Christian. And he said he doesn't want to have sex with her until they get married. But they have plans to meet, and Ash says she wants to spend the rest of her life with her biggest gifter, and they can live happily ever after. But that is pretty much it for this video, guys. This video is a lot longer than I expected, but I wanted to try to cover as much as I could. I know this video is all over the place, but I just want to jam pack as much information as I could. I'm very curious what you guys think of Ash Trevino. I'm very curious what you guys think about all this. Have you heard of Ash before? I'm shocked she's as big as she is. Like, her most recent interview she did with Camila has 10 million views, and some of these TikToks she's done have 10, 15 million views, and that is insane because really she's not even ever really talking about much on her TikToks outside this little joke about her nunu smelling and her talking about the latest penis she wants to jump on.
This is the last video I'll be making about this goofy ass woman, so let's get started.
She did ask me, did your kids pick out the bed set? I said, I don't want you to buy it.
This is me sending Ash Trevino a text message. I was like, hey, don't forget to send me what the kids want for their beds. And she said, after what I said, I don't know if it's okay. So because after what you went online and you ruined it for your kids, I can't buy them a bed because you won't do it? You're sick. Something's wrong with you. She then goes on to talk about some sort of credit card fraud, and when she went to send me the video, sends me a screenshot of the video as if I can click on it and look at it, first of all. And second of all, what does credit card fraud have to do with me getting your kids' beds? Another thing she said was that I got paid $60,000 off of the podcast.
I paid $60,000? Somebody actually told me that.
Okay, first of all, who told you that? Because that's crazy. I made way more. But that's none of your business. Yes, I did get paid. That's why you were on there. I paid for everything that you needed, like a hotel, you know, your flight, even sent you first class and the Ritz-Carlton, and you didn't ask for more payment. That is not my fault. That has nothing to do with me. What happened to your manager? Before you came on the podcast, you said that you were going to have me sign something.
But that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about everything in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.